Surprise, surprise! One more Golden Bachelor recap.
Yeah.
The wedding happened.
The golden wedding, they called it.
Yes, the golden wedding. Now, first and foremost, if you don't know the Bachelor franchise, these
Bachelor
weddings,
Nation.
Yeah, if
That's
you're not in the Bachelor Nation, then you don't know that these weddings are full promotional.
Right.
They're not real weddings.
I wonder if it's
they are,
yeah.
but it's not why they do them.
Sure.
They do. Obviously, Amazon was obviously a sponsor.
Yeah.
They're promoting the new Bachelor that's starting next week. And then, you know what? It's so funny how they trot out all of these successful marriages.
The ones that are still married.
Yeah,
well, the first one.
There's two.
Well, yeah, but I was shocked
Tristan
that
and Ryan.
They're still married. It's 20 years.
They've been married for 20 years. They have like 2 or 3 kids.
They're really cute and pretty still.
So cute. I think he had some significant health issues. Like he almost died.
Oh.
Yeah. So he seemed kind of quiet.
Yeah, well,
they both were.
She was still really stunning.
She's so pretty.
She is gorgeous.
She's very pretty.
I was like 20 years and she still looks like that. My God.
I think they got. I mean,
who wouldn't? Of course you would. You do whatever you got to do. You know you're going to be on TV, but
right. Well, and like when we talked, they were the very first Bachelor, or Bachelorette, I think. And so people's intentions were different back then. They weren't trying to get influencer followers.
Like now, yeah.
Whereas now everybody's, like a model.
A TikTok model, an Instagram model.
So I do have hope for the first Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Yeah.
I think that Gary chose Teresa very early on. I think we were right about that. I think that he went through the motions.
You were.
But
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think that he always knew he was going to choose Teresa. And a lot of the women, if you notice, and they all went.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I was going to say when we
go ahead.
recap this was that Leslie.
Yes.
She was, they showed her, but she literally got no camera time. None.
Okay. We're jumping around.
Yeah, we are. That's okay.
Sorry.
There's no rules.
No, you're right. They're doing the vows. And Gary is saying his vows, and they did a shot to Leslie.
The only time they literally, like the whole hour of the show, they showed her maybe once, and
she had like 2 words, and then they show her during the vows.
And then during the vows, I was like, oh, of course you did.
Oh,
and her face, right?
She's all.
She was like.
Here's the other thing. She was in the hospital like a week ago.
Oh.
She had an intestinal blockage, and she was in the hospital.
She on Ozempic?
No, she's kind of thin already, but she's definitely had some work done since the show.
Well, I don't blame her.
She had fillers or something. She didn't look the same. She looked different to me.
She looks good just still, but
refreshed.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I was wondering if, look, if I'm Teresa and I'm doing this big production for my wedding, I would probably have a few conditions of my own. And one of them would be like, you're not going to flaunt that whore all around me. I know she has to be here. I get it.
They showed Faith a lot.
No, they did, but that's because she was over it. Yes. And she didn't sleep with Gary.
You know what's really funny?
Nearly as.
Here's what's funny too. Did you hear the part where Faith goes, by the way, I would have moved if I wanted to. There were other things.
I did. That was too much.
Like, there were other things.
I know.
I'm like, okay, good. Because on Reddit.
Just for the right guy.
Yeah.
She emphasized that.
And not only that, but I mean, Reddit had so many theories about Faith.
Oh.
And, I honestly don't even know where the rumor came that she refused to leave. You and I even talked about how she refused to leave her horses and her
I didn't
kids.
hear her say that.
No.
Ever.
And so she's like, I never said I wouldn't move.
I think people assumed that the way they edited the show for production, that we all came to that conclusion.
I am so glad she set the record straight, to be fair.
She probably was so glad to have that moment.
She's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I really like Faith. I do hope that she finds someone.
I think a lot of these women that they featured that kind of stood out.
Yes.
They all have futures
for
somehow,
sure.
some way. Yeah.
I have to say though, I am just not a fan of Leslie. I'm sorry. I'm just not a fan of hers. I hate her sourpuss face.
Yeah.
I hate that she's still fucking hurt.
Right.
It was 3 weeks, Leslie.
It wasn't
3 weeks.
like
a year of courting, and then at the very last minute goes, oh, just kidding.
I mean, let's be fair. She's not really necessarily mad or upset that she didn't get Gary.
I don't think so
I think
either.
she's upset for all the things that go with being the chosen one on a Bachelorette.
Sore loser, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like she's not getting all the press. She's
Nope.
not getting all the fanfare.
Right.
Everybody's not gushing over her. You know, she's not still filming like Teresa is.
There were people mad that it wasn't announced that she's the next Golden Bachelorette. And I'm like, she is not going to be the next Golden Bachelorette.
Because
There's
men
no
would
way.
run. They'd be like, hell no. I don't want to. If she's the prize, no thank you.
I don't want to have a meltdown every time she has to send someone home.
She's not. No.
Anyway, so these things are very promotional.
Yeah.
Yes, they have their wedding. Yes, they get their choice of things based on what's presented to them. So,
well, and none of it's terrible.
No, it's all lovely.
It's all top of the line.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
Gary got to pick out rings with Neil Lane.
Right. That was fun. Her dress was.
She got to pick out her dress.
Mishka and whatever it was.
Mishka Badley.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing is, though, there was a lot of criticism about her choices, about her dress and her veil.
I liked the dress. I wasn't in love with the veil.
It was a bit heavy.
It was just she's so little and so short. It just it looked like she was wearing a nun's habit.
Like a lot of people were like, "Oh, why didn't she wear her hair up? Why that she was swallowed by everything?"
I don't think it
was ill-fitting.
I
don't know if I agree with all of it.
I didn't agree with all
of
that.
But when they showed her original wedding photo, like when she got married 50 years ago,
her husband. Oh yeah,
the original her, same veil.
Oh, was it?
And I'm wondering if that was the same veil.
Maybe it was symbolic for her.
Well, I'm just wondering if that was her veil, like her actual veil.
Well, I don't know. When she did the dress fitting, when they were,
she was pretty.
Yeah, I thought she looked beautiful. This woman, her body for a 70-year-old woman,
stunning.
She's phenomenal.
She's banging.
I couldn't look like that now, and I'm 20 years younger than her.
Yeah,
she really looked pretty. I do agree that there was a couple fashion faux pas that I didn't love, but it was nothing I couldn't live with.
And the thing is, we're dealing with a live event.
Absolutely.
So there's going to be...
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they always do it that way? Because I've never watched a wedding for the Bachelorette.
I have not seen a live event.
So
before.
That's the only thing that I really didn't love, because they had all these amateur people doing what do you call it? Like,
like the play-by-play?
Yeah, like they had,
You mean like Kathy?
But I did love Kathy.
Okay, Kathy was
awkward, but
she was literally embodying Joan Rivers. Like she literally was like Joan Rivers.
But I thought, considering this, she's just a normal person.
Yeah.
She was really good.
Well, what's interesting is
the other girl she was with, I hated.
Everyone did not find her fun at all.
I hated her.
Very like, so anyway, like it was very
terrible.
Very self.
And Kathy was being really funny, when
she was just chilling. Well, she got better, by the way. In the very beginning, she's like, "Thank you, Jessie."
She did.
But after she started to warm up a little bit,
I think after she had a drink,
and honestly,
she started chilling.
I think the producers like, "Get this bitch a martini."
They started drinking champagne, but like one of the chick that I didn't like, she was
Charlotte.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name was, but I think she's on Dancing with the Stars, because I heard some references to that. And she was there with her man, who was somebody, he looked like an athlete.
He did.
And Kathy was making funny jokes about, you keep talking, I'm taking your man. She's like, he's not on the market. Like, she was taking it seriously. I'm like, this woman is 70. What are you talking about? She's joking. Calm down.
So
I'm like, fuck, you look like an idiot.
She did look like an idiot. I would agree. I thought it was dumb.
Yeah, I was over her immediately. I was like, never hire her again. Whoever decided to do that was
poor on her. There was one part, it was in the very beginning when Kathy and I think her name was Charlotte or something. They were talking. It doesn't even matter, actually. We're never going to talk about her again after this. Yeah. But anyway, it was just beginning, and Kathy's like, "Thank you, Jessie." And she said it a million times. I'm like, okay, she's been given a little bit of training, and now she needs to kind of become herself.
Well, I think they practice a little.
Of course. You have to. It's live. You have to be like,
It was like the guy who's going to be the next Bachelor, who they kept having on, obviously.
Yes.
He's like, I'm just so excited to be here. I'm just so excited to be here.
He's like an athlete.
This is just such a wonderful experience. I'm so excited to be here. I'm like, you said that like 10 times now.
We know. You're excited. Great.
Okay, because you literally can't think of anything else to say.
Exactly. But they're talking and everything. It's like the pre-gaming and now I have been to a reality show wedding and I know how.
That's right.
I know how long these are. I know how chaotic they are.
Yeah.
They don't feed you.
Right.
There's just no time for food. However, in the beginning, you can see that because
everybody had appetizers.
Those people have been there since 9 a.m.
Right.
I guarantee you. They've been there since the early morning because they're doing all kinds of shots and they need all the everything. Every kind of light, daylight to night. So all those guests have been there for hours all day, hours and hours. So then they give them just a hint of food.
And did you see them all shoveling it in their mouth? They didn't give a fuck there was a camera there.
That's exactly my point, is that one, I don't know who she is. I think she's stunning. I thought her dress was amazing. The green dress.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
The one that got engaged?
No, not that girl.
Because that was ugly.
It was horrifying. They are a hot mess.
They really
They're
are.
perfect for each other. But no, it was a girl.
I know that proposal was
She kind of looked like Megan Fox. She had like a slick bun and she had this long green satin dress.
Yeah.
I thought she was
I don't
really
know who
pretty.
she is,
I don't either. I think she's a bachelor.
She's probably a far
she
more
was on
show person.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, so Kathy and this chick are talking, and the girl in the green dress has a thing. She literally turns away from the people she's talking to and shoves it into her mouth
because she's so hungry,
right in front of the cameras, and she doesn't care because she's looking down.
No one cared.
She's literally like, because I know they haven't eaten.
Well,
for 10 hours.
It's interesting that you said that because I didn't think about that part of it, but I wondered why no one cared that they were just like standing around having normal conversations like right behind where they were filming. Yeah. They'd been doing it all day. So it wasn't like this was the first time they saw a camera and, no.
In fact, when we were at it was the MasterChef wedding.
Yes.
Many years ago. It was season 4, I think.
Right.
So when we arrived at the set at or the place where the wedding was happening at 9:30 in the morning, and we were in formal wear, bright and early, and they're just like, eat a big breakfast. And we're like, everyone's like, no, we're in formal wear. No one's eating a big breakfast. We'll be bloated and not be able to fit in anything because we've been starving ourselves for 2 weeks to be on this stupid show because we all don't want to look like big fat whales on TV.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're standing around waiting. And then finally they're like, okay, we're going to go to this part. And we're all sitting and we're waiting. I mean, we must have sat for 2 hours before the wedding even started.
Oh, goodness.
And they reshoot it over and over and over. Now, I know that this was live, so it was probably different in some aspects.
Yeah.
But regardless, there's a lot of waiting.
Well, I'm sure parts of it were live. It doesn't mean it was live from start to finish.
There's no way.
And there was a lot of promotion.
Plus,
like you said,
there were commercial breaks, which means they were probably reshooting, refilming during the. And
absolutely.
Those commercial breaks on ABC are like 10 minutes. There's a lot of there's a lot of filming going on during the commercial. Yeah. So there's that, and then. There's just so much waiting, and there's no time for food. Yeah, none. And in fact, they were probably shooting champagne because they were thirsty
and hungry,
and they're just like anything, And there's not even water. They won't let you even hold a water bottle because you're on TV.
Oh yeah.
So it's like there's nothing. You're supposed to just be there going hooray.
Yeah, the whole time.
Exactly.
Right?
And so I mean, I remember when we went, some people they're like, oh, I've done this before. I have snacks in my bag. Like people literally brought clutches full of crackers. And I'm like, I wish I had known. Yeah. No one tells me these things. Who would have thought?
Right. No. But now that makes perfect sense.
Yes. And so but I laughed. The first thing I noted was that girl in the green dress turning around and just shoveling bacon wrapped dates into her mouth.
They could pretend like, okay, now we're eating because it's the pregame.
Yeah,
right.
But yes, finally. The strange proposal.
Yeah, the proposal was weird.
A lot of people thought it was tacky. They're like, well, we got permission from the bride and the groom. I'm like, they don't give a shit. Well, because nobody asked. They just said, do it.
No, they didn't. It was because the production, the ABC, who is it?
ABC.
They were like, yes, this will be great. Yes. Because they were also former Bachelor people, right?
Bachelor in Paradise.
Right.
Yes.
And
they met.
And he didn't find love. But she was like one of the people who didn't. Somehow they got together.
And she has a child.
Yeah.
I was like, she has a child? And she went on Bachelor in Paradise? It's like 3 months.
Oh,
how are you doing that without a
Why is it 3 months? This one, Golden Bachelor was only it was 3 weeks.
There was some discussion about how short it was. But it's because I think they are older.
They were afraid someone might die.
No, I just think they're older. And I also wonder if, like he didn't decide really fast. And they're just like, there's no really reason to go to prolong this. He's already decided.
Well, that is one thing about being older. You do know what you like, and you definitely know what you don't like.
And of course, Jesse got in the Neil Lane push. He's like, "Oh, isn't that a beautiful Neil Lane ring?" And I'm like, "Come on,
that was
this
lame.
is so dumb."
Well,
and I'm
and
like, okay, this is a promotional event. This
and
is
even
not,
his wife being pregnant was a thing.
How many times is he going to say
Well,
it?
I mean, they've continued. It's been on E! News. Like Jesse, what's his last name?
I don't know.
Jesse, rushed out of Golden Bachelor to go. I'm like, he did not.
Was the baby born?
No.
Okay. Well
I mean, yeah, he or she was born like a couple days later. But
okay.
She wasn't in labor that night.
Okay.
But they kept making it seem like that,
Whatever.
And I'm like, and then they kept it going after it was over. I'm like, stop. No one cares.
So trying to keep
I don't even know who he is.
Trying to keep in mind that these things are to push sponsorships and highlight all the upcoming franchise stuff.
Yeah, I did get annoyed with all that.
It was really a lot, and so and it felt overboard. Yeah, really felt overboard.
I don't know what the viewership was like for this particular.
It was big,
but I enjoyed it, and I felt like they were really taking advantage of that.
They did.
So, but I will say this: the few moments or the filming that was real, that was them.
The event.
I thought the bachelorette party was cute and funny.
It was cute.
I thought that was about as genuine as it could be.
I got to tell you, Stephanie, if you invite me to a bachelorette party and they decide we're doing boudoir photos, I'm leaving. Ellen Lauren's like, I don't do this. And I'm like, girl, same. Let's go.
Well, and could she have been any less engaged? She was so...
Her blue nightgown photo.
And she's standing there, she's like...
and I'm like, why did they show that photo of her, the blue nightgown
because
photo?
It was probably the best one they had.
She literally looked like, hi, honey.
She was like Little Bo Peep.
It was terrible. And I'm like, well.
The other women did look really beautiful, though.
Susan's photo was amazing.
She's gorgeous, okay? Sorry.
She's a statuesque, beautiful lady.
She is. She's got a beautiful body.
I hate the hair, though. I gotta say, I hate the hair.
Too short,
but it's what she's probably always done.
It is. It's her thing.
I mean, I saw pictures of her when she was really young, and she had short hair. Yeah, like she's never had long hair.
It was just her thing. But I will say that is that part of the show was where when I looked at Teresa, I was like, damn, this
so
bitch
hot.
is fucking got a body.
Not only that, but she's like, I can't wait to fuck my husband
every single night,
like constantly.
Yeah, I
she's like, I can't wait to show him everything, and I'm like, girl.
Well,
she's like, I've been celibate for 9 years.
She's like, and who knows how long we have before somebody breaks a hip, gets a disease.
So apparently, at some point in the vows, when Susan was talking and she said something about the future, she's like, and who knows where we'll be in 10 years? They blanked it out, but she said, dead.
Who did? Teresa? Oh, God.
And everybody laughed.
Is that why they were all laughing?
Yeah, everybody laughed, but they muted it.
Oh, they should have left it.
I think so, too.
It would have been funny.
I agree.
I mean, that was kind of the whole shtick of the show was like, look, we are out of time. And if we can find someone to marry now, God bless us.
I will say I did appreciate all of like the wedding coordinator and the wedding dress people and all those people. They're just like, these people legit love each other. Mm-hmm. Like it's not fake.
I myself
I agree.
Yeah, I think
it's
agree.
Pretty clear.
I myself was thinking since the finale of the show, in between now and the wedding, I was like, I wonder now that all of the filming and stuff is over, except for whatever they're doing for the wedding. If they're like, oh my God, like we have to marry each other now. Like, do we really want to do this? Now that I'm getting to know you and you're annoying. And I
think that they had some real come to Jesus chats after the show.
And she said they talked on the phone every night for like 4 hours.
You had to. Yeah. You have to. And, they made it really clear. They're like, look, family's really important to us. Yeah. It's like our number one thing.
Both of them.
And obviously they have their faith is very, very important to both of them. They're both Catholic, and it's Ave Maria was the number one hint. They walked down to Ave Maria.
Oh, did they? I didn't even catch that.
Ave Maria.
Every time I hear that song, it's like, it reminds me of my aunt's funeral.
I know. And well, what's funny is a lot of people are like, isn't that a funeral song? They're like, if you're Catholic, it's the first song they play in a wedding.
It's every song.
It's the number one. In fact, you don't even have to be religious, and most people play Ave Maria at a wedding. And I'm like, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I wouldn't, but okay, it's fine. I mean, it's a beautiful song.
It's a beautiful song.
If it's done well.
It's a little
solemn to me.
To me,
but a lot of people think that weddings, getting married is a very solemn occasion.
Well, it's a very serious thing. Right. Yes. And if you've been married.
And he must be really Catholic.
I think you and Daryl should get married again.
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Why would we do that?
Because it would be better than the first time. No. Jamie, your wedding was fabulous. But at that age, when we were that age,
I will never look as good as I did on that day.
that's true.
Well, my hair would be better. I'd have better hair.
I mean, it was the 90s. So.
No, I'd have better hair now.
Yeah.
Way
but
better.
I mean, it looked good in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was beautiful.
I had bangs. Anyway, so as far as the wedding part, I will say that I don't know why either, trust me, I don't know why, but when they asked Susan to officiate, I got a little verklimped.
I did not.
I don't know why
I did it in the vows.
And then, okay, so I think that this is what happened. Susan was weird in the beginning of the when they came to, when they're doing the officiating process, when she started talking, she kept fucking with her ear.
Oh, maybe.
And I think that there was a sound issue, and I think she was kind of either hearing herself or couldn't hear herself, and it was challenging her because a lot of people were like, oh, she made it all about her. I'm like, I think that she was dealing with some kind of production issue, and she was like, how do I deal with this? And so because there was like these long pauses, and there was all this weird like riffing going on.
Yeah, like she was trying to like go with it.
And then all of a sudden,
it was fine.
She was fine. So I'm like, no, something was up and it's live. So she can't be like, there's something going on.
Right.
She has to kind of just go with it.
Keep going.
And Teresa and Gary are like, what's happening? They don't understand. Yeah. And Gary, who is deaf.
Yeah.
Is reading lips.
Yeah, he always does.
And it was profound.
Well, he did it in the...
I know,
Yeah, not the renewal. When they did the little... why can't I see? It was like a reunion. Before the wedding and after the show.
The tell-all.
He was doing it the whole time, and I did read Reddit during that time, and everybody was talking about that, and people were like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And people who were like, look, if you've never known someone who's deaf, people do this.
That's so cruel.
It is cruel, but
they're just like, what's wrong?
And they're so naive and ignorant. I'm like, do you think he wanted... I'm like, you think he's just weird, and he was just like, doing this thing?
This is exactly why we need all-inclusive schools.
Thank
you.
So
you people can learn about disabilities.
Thank you.
God.
So yes, he does do that.
Not everyone's just autistic. Some people are actually deaf and blind and in wheelchairs.
So I did notice that this time around he was much more aware of trying to stop himself.
I did notice that he tried to stop himself, but it's like that's how he learned. That's how his
brain is interpreting information in a different way, and his body is reacting. So sorry, people. Who cares?
But I thought,
we're sensitive because we have deafness in our family.
That's true.
We do.
No, you're right. Somebody had mentioned that they thought that the children were a little off.
I did too. I think it's weird for them.
And I think that it's a combo. I think that Teresa's children were better. I think her daughter was like, in some ways, relieved that her mom has found someone. Well, I think her mom was really lonely and unhappy. And her daughter's like...
Well, it was longer.
It was longer. Honestly, I just think that they missed their parents. I think
too.
They legitimately were like, I miss my mom. I wish my mom was here. Because then we wouldn't be doing this. I'm getting teary thinking about it. Because,
well, you know what? No, you're right.
Because it's like they're happy for their dad. Because, I mean, based on what we've heard, he's had a pretty shitty relationship since his wife died. Yeah. And this is probably the first woman where they go, God, finally someone decent and normal and... good family.
And he really loves her.
And he genuinely cares for her.
And she genuinely loves him.
And she genuinely...
I mean, but part of that is then letting go for good.
And I think that's part of it.
It's very, very final.
I think
it's
that's
like,
part
okay,
of
mom
it.
is really dead, and mom is never going to be married to dad again.
And not only that, but I mean, let's be honest. Like I was saying, and the reason I brought it up in the beginning, it's like... The filming process of something like this, it's full on chaos.
Yeah.
They had probably been there since like 4 or 5 in the morning getting ready. And now it's like... It was like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we don't know. It could have been midnight for all we know, but yeah.
Well, I mean, if it was live in LA,
it was
in Palm Springs.
It kept saying previously recorded.
Oh, so they did it live and then okay. See?
So they may have done it live for the East Coast.
That makes more sense.
And then we saw our previously recorded because it was so much earlier.
Right. So anyway, my point is that it is a tiring, exhausting, emotionally draining day.
Yeah.
And I'm sure finally getting to the wedding part, it's like, oh, God,
finally got it. We're almost done. Yeah.
And you can't take off your shoes.
You can't do anything. Yeah, like you had.
Their dresses were so ugly.
God, could they have been more hideous?
Why did they have fans on the side of their dress? They look like little jellyfish fins.
I don't know.
Why did they do that to those poor women? These are women.
Well, I would have hoped
these aren't young girls.
Well,
these are maybe women with children.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing they wanted to try to portray. Like, oh, his children, her children. I'm like, yeah, but they're 70, so their children are, right?
Like, why couldn't they wear something sophisticated and beautiful?
I don't know.
Like, what is the fucking strapless with fins?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
Yeah. I would have protested for sure. But maybe they just absolutely had no choice. They're like, look, if you want to go, then this is what you're going to wear.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we all have our opinions on weddings and choices that are made. But I mean, could we find a less flattering dress?
I mean, seriously.
God.
Well, here's the thing.
Even the skinny one looked bad in it.
They fortunately didn't do a lot of focusing on them.
Maybe that's why they were pissed. Or just like, hey, here I am.
Yeah, they didn't look happy.
Big old jellyfish.
But like you said, I
ABC.
think it was more of exhaustion. And what sucks is trying to look genuinely happy when you've been doing it for 12 hours already.
Yeah, you know, they're like, I haven't had a bite since last night when I had that late night Pop-Tart.
Right?
I'm so hungry.
In my hotel room. And
I'm dehydrated.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And none of them live there, by the way.
They all live on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Which means it's like 2 a.m. for them.
Right. Exactly.
Those poor children, those little tiny boys.
Oh, I know.
Her grandkids, they're just like, ugh. And then what was that ring pillow?
I don't know what happened with that.
What was that? Was that someone's craft project?
Could have. Maybe it was sentimental. You don't know.
It was a pile of berries, wasn't it? What was that thing?
I didn't even look at it. I just know they were having issues getting the rings off.
Oh yeah,
they tried to do the exchange.
Their little fingers
it wouldn't come off.
Do it.
So
and I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But anyway, I did.
I liked like I said, I liked the vows.
I did too.
They actually did write those. You could tell.
And she's all Gary.
And she did so
good.
She didn't have to read anything, but that's a woman for you.
She's been practicing
Jamie,
that shit.
She's read that 10,000 times.
She did.
And he's got his little card. He was so nervous. That was kind of cute.
You know what? And I have to tell you, I genuinely appreciate his emotion.
He was real.
It's not fake. I mean, we know men.
He didn't ugly cry or sob or do anything to where we were like, stop it.
But I also think that, like... I do think that these two people, how can you not think about your first marriage?
You
when you're
would.
Going through this?
There's got to be an inkling of betrayal inside of you and guilt, but at the same time,
or just a finality,
a sadness,
a finality. And it was funny because when Teresa, I don't know if you saw this part or noticed this part because I did. She goes, you know, my husband Billy. First of all, why are you a grown man, Billy? Really? Anyway, no. She goes, my husband Billy. When he was dying, he's like, are you getting married again? And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, he said that, like, never marry after me, you know?
Did he? Well, at their age, who would have thought?
She didn't indicate that, but she's like, he asked me, and then she goes, Billy, yes, I'm getting married again. And I'm thinking, I'm starting to think that maybe Billy and Teresa weren't as happy as she's leading to believe.
If you've been married for 50 years, don't tell me you haven't been through it. There's at least a half a dozen times you pondered divorce in those 50 years.
At least.
Yeah.
Or at least rough patches.
Even the happiest of marriages.
She's like, you bet, Billy.
Yeah.
I'm getting married again.
So, no, I'm sorry.
And I just think that's why her daughter was a little more like, thank God, you know?
Maybe, but, whatever the reason,
I don't know.
Whatever the reason, I'm sure that, whether they were completely blissfully happy the entire time or they were like,
there's no such thing.
Normal people, right? God, I had a guy come
Teresa's such a catch. I swear. Yeah. I'm not saying
she's
Gary.
Great.
Gary's not a catch. I'm sure he's wonderful.
No, he is.
But what I love about her is she's just such an amazing
She's
person.
Very together, which I love. Yeah. I love how independent she is.
I do too.
Even when she was married, she was independent.
Yeah.
She made her own money. She did her own thing. She was determined,
and you know what?
All of that.
Honestly, that's very rare with that age group.
Definitely.
That the husband would even like be okay with it.
Until she started making money. He's like, go on with your bad self.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly. And her, her family obviously feels the same way.
For sure.
Gary's family, well, they're Indiana. I mean, they're not New Jersey.
He's successful too.
Oh,
I think what I like about Gary is he's pretty organic as a human.
Yes.
Most men are.
What you see is what you get with him.
Yeah, I don't find men to be overly complicated for the most part.
No, I mean
unless they're sociopaths.
There are manipulators, but Gary is not that.
Yeah,
he's very plain.
Yeah, he is
in who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an attractive man. For sure.
I loved his vow so bad for her. I did for her because he said all of the things.
When he said, "I'm gonna start crying,"
same. I'm like, that was when I got choked up.
When he's like, "I'll keep you safe," and she's like, "Oh,"
because she was literally like, "You know what I need to hear,"
and I'm like,
"Oh my God, Jamie and I are crying. Get the list out."
Put the list. Put it on the list. But it's like when he said that, and trigger's not the right word, but it triggered her. Like she's like perked up and immediately went, oh my God, yes,
right?
You're gonna keep me safe. And I'm like,
and if as a woman, especially if
that's important to her, and he knew it.
Yeah, well,
he's like, and I'll find your glasses. And I was like,
so many things.
Stop it!
Oh my God, it was the cutest thing ever. It was so cute. Yeah.
He goes, which is now a thing. I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. I just think I just think that they're
very well suited for one another.
And you know what else I noticed too is a lot of the women who were eliminated fairly early on. They were like, oh, we always knew it was Teresa.
They did.
They all said it. They're like, oh, we always knew it was her.
Well, there must have been an energy about them that was undeniable.
And I mean, frankly, there was like a couple of the women were like, I'm out. And he's like, I understand and I agree. And like there was no love lost, you know, and it's like we can see that Teresa's the girl.
Right.
You know, it's like, what are we doing? And I don't need the exposure and I don't want to go through it.
And I think if even though I've never watched
I want to go home, you know.
Yeah, I've never watched another season of The Bachelor, but I bet that for young guys or young girls.
Oh, they cling.
And it's so much easier to
they scratch and claw their way and stay as long as they're like ticks. They're like, you're gonna have to burn my head off to get me to leave. Whereas the other women are like, it's clear that he wants Teresa.
And the other thing is that, no, I think what I was going to say is I think that when you're younger, it's a lot easier to have more than one deep, meaningful relationship with someone.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you can kind of play like, I'm not sure. I have this thing going on with this person, but I have something different going on with this person. But I think when you're older, you're very much more decided about what you want, what you need, and who's going to be even in the realm.
Yeah.
And I think for Gary, it was like, very quickly he knew that like no, none of you are really it. I think he was a little teeter-tottering maybe
with Leslie a
little, but
like he wasn't sure. But you know, it's funny now looking back at those final.
He wanted to flush her out and make sure.
Those final two dates or episodes or whatever where he was really quiet with Teresa. I think he was feeling guilty that he schlepped Leslie.
Probably.
I think it was the opposite. I think everybody thought, oh, he's in love with Leslie and now he doesn't want to be with Teresa. But I think the opposite was, I really like Teresa, and I can't believe that I did that.
And how smart is production for making their date first?
Brilliant.
They knew it.
Brilliant.
They saw it.
It was amazing.
Like she has to be first.
Yes,
because
and honestly, like we said in the past, he did her a service by not humiliating her on that.
He really did.
That stage. Like he really is a nice person, I think.
Yeah. And I agree.
And I think Leslie took it poorly, and I mean, understandably initially, because who wants to feel used?
No, for sure,
no one.
And I think she was. I think she allowed herself to indulge that it could be.
Yeah,
and I think she was foolish for doing that because if she was really honest with herself, she probably would have known.
She would have seen it.
She would have.
She was like, "Well, I'm just here to support my friend."
I think
Teresa.
I think
you are not friends with Teresa. Stop it.
No, you're not.
You're not.
And if I'm Teresa, I'm like, don't even give that bitch one moment longer than she absolutely has to be. This is my day.
She has made my life hell for 2 weeks. I'm not doing this.
Well, I mean, I would just be like, don't make me look like an idiot. You know, I'm getting married to this guy, and don't keep showing her and making her this about her.
I thought it was pretty shady to show her during the vows, personally.
Well, I mean, they had to do it a little.
They had to twist the knife.
They didn't do it at all, except for that moment. Literally.
Was there anyone that didn't go? Was there anyone other than the Indian woman who absolutely just was like,
I was just trying to think of the very, very beginning of
just that one woman.
No, I think everybody. Was there an Asian woman?
No,
there wasn't.
No,
even in the beginning.
Okay, everybody else came. But I don't know if everyone participated in the Bachelorette party.
She
was like 7 people.
Yeah, no, she literally, it was her closest friends.
Yeah, it was like 4. Well, it was like 5.
Her closest friends from the show.
Yeah. Well, you can bond with someone quickly.
Oh, they all said that of the experience that was the best thing. She's like, both Gary and I have made friends for life.
I love it
through this.
See, I freaking love that
because when you're old, you don't have all those stupid hang-ups and all those grudges and it's bullshit.
Yeah, you don't give a crap about.
It's like, who cares? We had so much fun. Can you believe we got to do this?
I think it's
like we were on The Bachelor.
I will say
we're old.
I am very much looking forward.
Me too.
To the next edition of the Golden.
Yeah, me too.
I think you and I have discussed that we may cover The Bachelor.
Yeah, we'll see.
Since you've never watched it.
Yeah, I think we should do it just for that reason alone.
And it's
there's nothing to watch right now.
Plus, I mean, is there anything better than talking crap about 20-year-olds?
No,
like it's so fun.
They just get annoying to me. So hopefully I can stay the course.
Psychotics. is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the women, because, well, just like with Leslie, you are in a bubble. You don't have your phone. You have no idea what's going on in the real world.
Okay.
So you can be your pure self. And within 3 or 4 weeks, oh, man, like their real personalities are there.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah. So we should do it.
We'll watch it. Yeah.
I mean, we're waiting for Top Chef.
We're waiting for Top Chef, and we're waiting for Alone. And
oh yeah, that's going to be way later in the summer, I think.
I don't know. We didn't watch Alone over the summer. Did we?
Didn't?
No, I'm pretty sure it was like in the spring.
I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, that's it. That's it. We're done.
It's over
with the Golden Bachelor.
Fully enjoyed it. I'm very glad we watched it.
I don't think there'll be any baby announcements.
No.
In fact, the next thing will be Gary broke a hip and someone died.
That will be sad.
Yeah, but hopefully, I mean, they're 70.
I really hope they get a good
time.
10 or 15 years out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's some weird blurb when we're old ladies and they're just like, oh, do you remember Gary from The Bachelor? Yeah, he finally died. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Lacey Underall died. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I saw that last night when I had insomnia.
Made me sad.
Anyway, David Soul died too.
I don't know who that
Starsky. Of Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, I never watched that show.
Well, it's way before our time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not that old. Anyway, all right. We're not going to be on The Bachelorette anytime soon. The golden one, anyway.
No.
Although,
do they have the midlife Bachelor?
Do you have mid-size Bachelor?
Right.
That'd be hilarious.
Well, if you notice,
I want to see a Gen X Bachelor.
Even on the Golden Bachelor, everybody was a size 2. By the way,
no.
So
there was a lot of comments like, "Where's the normal-sized women? Where's the reality?
No one wants to see it."
God. We want to see the tiny weight people.
I mean, and now that you know a little bit about TV and production and all of that, it's true. The camera makes you look bigger.
Dude.
And so if those women were 2s, they looked like 4s or 6s.
I saw someone on TV yesterday. Spam. I saw somebody, and they're like tiny.
Yeah.
And they were wearing a dress, and I'm like, that is not a flattering dress.
That's why I know Giada De Laurentiis is like 80 pounds.
Oh, you know that woman has got to be
She could blow away in a stiff breeze.
It's like, oh, breeze.
Yes.
There she goes.
She's
Bye.
So small.
I know.
Her teeth are the heaviest thing on her body.
And her head in general. Yeah. Anyway, all right. We'll see you on the next installment of whatever reality show that we start. Bye. It's your